So right now, everyone in San Francisco that owns property, big property landlords, small property landlords, the landlords that of course own Airbnbs, which are not being rented out recently, they're all super mad because San Francisco is telling them no for property tax cuts. Now, if you guys don't know San Francisco, they have some of the craziest property taxes you've ever seen. Now, let's just pick something pretty normal, right? Let's just pick this condo here. $1 million, 2 bed, 2 bath, 1,000 square feet. It's like your average condo. So the monthly HOA is almost $500 right there. And I'm sure the property tax is like super duper high. If you check out some of the property taxes, it's pretty crazy. Like you're basically paying $1,000 a month on property tax for a modest 2 bed, 2 bath. And your views are literally like a parking lot. So I'm not really sure, if these are super high taxes in your view, but I could tell you paying $1,000 is not my cup of tea. I own a home. I'm only paying like $200, $300 max for like a suburban home. And I'm not paying $1,000 a month for like a tiny little condo. Not to mention the HOA, electricity, all this kind of stuff. When it's added, you're basically paying like $1,700, $1,800, including Wi-Fi and stuff like that. And that's a month. I mean, that's basically rent. So people are super mad about San Francisco because the property values are no way this high anymore, right? This unit isn't worth $1 million. This unit is not worth, $800,000. In fact, some people say that they'll only buy it for like 40, 50% off. I mean, look at some of the prices. At one point, this home was almost $1.2 million. And now it's at a little under $1,000. I mean, $1 million, but it's going to go even lower. All right. It's not going to sell for this price. I think they might be able to sell it if it's like $750,000 or $700,000. If you look at the commercial real estate side, it's even worse, right? Wells Fargo took a $60 million loss on their property. Now, what's scary about this isn't like a bad commercial unit. 550 California Street is a very high-end unit in downtown San Francisco. Let me show you guys where it is. It's actually very close to the water. It's downtown. It's pretty close to the Trans-America Bay building. It's around this area. And it's a pretty high-end, high-caliber building. So I don't think that buildings like these should be priced this low, but this is what the market commands, right? You just have to trust the market. If they can't sell this for 10% off or 20% off and they had to do 60% off, something's wrong with San Francisco real estate. I guarantee you the landlord of this property building, that's basically the same size as this one, is probably sweating bullets right now. They're like, okay, hold up. You're telling me my neighbor here sold for like 60% off? What's my price target? It's probably even lower because it's an older building. So if you look at Wells Fargo, what's scary is they bought this back in 2005 for $108 million. They sold it a few weeks ago for like $40 to $50 million. Guys, $100 million back in 2005 is worth way more than it is now, right? So not only have you got inflation eating away at their profits, but they're also paying crazy high property tax every single year. Lots of maintenance, lots of HOA, electricity bill, Wi-Fi bill, it's all super high. So they've in fact probably lost close to maybe 60, 70, $80 million, around that area. So the initial money they got back was nothing. In fact, it was probably cheaper for them just to rent a building if they knew San Francisco real estate was this doo-doo. So because of this, a lot of property owners are asking San Francisco to please have a property tax cut. Like I said before, you saw that 2-bedroom condo. It's not worth $1 million, but they're still charging people like it is like $1.2 million. It's $1,000 of property tax every single month. They want it to be lower to like $800, $700, just to relieve some of the pressure. Because like if I'm paying $700 versus $1,000, that's a pretty massive difference of $300. Some of the world's biggest landlords, including Brookfield Corp, Blackstone, have all filed for assessment cuts. Because that's the reality, right? The property prices are so low in San Francisco. These buildings, these condos, these skyscrapers that you see in these pictures are no longer worth the amount as before. And there's even tax representatives saying that they've been doing this for decades, like 37 years, and it's the first time they've seen this many new appeals coming in, begging the city for a massive price cut. This is the first time San Francisco has ever seen this. And San Francisco, like any city, the amount of property tax really helps out their budget. I mean, a lot of people buying homes, a lot of homes being built, and also increasing property taxes is a great way for a city to make humongous amounts of money. Just look at New York City, for example. Manhattan's property tax is even crazier than San Francisco's, and people are willing to put up with it because those condos and those buildings are worth that much. But people are not going to put up with the crap in San Francisco because the buildings and the properties are not worth the actual listed price. As you can see, the Wells Fargo situation. In fact, Wells Fargo actually listed this building for $160 million, and they settled for a 75% write-off. That's insane, right? And it's not just San Francisco, but other parts of the Bay Area and other parts of California are begging for price cuts. But especially San Francisco, because this is where like the hyper expensive tech real estate is, or I guess it used to be pretty expensive. Now it's getting cheaper by the day. And you do see, for example, NEMA, this luxury skyscraper. These guys are about to default simply because they can't pay their property tax. Most of the units are rented out, and also the maintenance fees are insanely high. So they may default on a $400 million loan. Like I said before, if you just lower the property tax by like 20-30%, it does relieve a lot of the pressure for the landlords. But here's the thing, San Francisco, they're going broke. They can't afford to lose one of the last lines of the revenue, right? With so many tech companies leaving in droves, Salesforce decreasing their work size, Uber decreasing their workforce, Lyft is leaving, Reddit. There's even rumors that X may be leaving as well. And that's just like the tip of the iceberg, right? You have so many more small mom and pop companies, so many more smaller startups, and so many companies in under $10 billion, they have already left. This is why you see record store closures and crazy high crime in San Francisco. I mean, San Francisco basically looks like this all the time. You got this graffiti, spray paints, you got mass looting, you got people doing fentanyl, all sorts of crazy stuff, man. Just have cars going around looking for other cars to break in. This is San Francisco for you guys. Absolute crazy. You would not see another city like this in America. I think San Francisco is just so unique. It has truly deteriorated. It is a shell of its former self. It's no longer where it used to be, this massive tech city. It's no longer that. Okay, with all the tech leaving, this is terrible, right? Even in some of the good neighborhoods are experiencing lots of really bad stuff, and even people break into cars in front of the San Francisco police. I mean, the cops want to do stuff, I feel like, but they're very afraid to get canceled. I get it. And San Francisco prices are sinking dramatically. Property owners want a price cuts. They're like, hey man, like these condos, these hotels, these businesses, they're not here anymore, right? And these property prices should not be this high. Let us get a tax cut. They're saying no, right? And I get what San Francisco is doing. They just don't have that much money. Like so many businesses are leaving. How can you ask them to give up even more money? So you have this back and forth. And San Francisco right now, if they don't change their ways, I feel like the whole city's going to go bankrupt even faster. And these buildings are going to default faster than ever before. Thanks for watching, guys, and see you later.